it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for January 2025. So on January 30th, we have our final astro event taking place here this month, which is Uranus, the Great Awakener, finally going direct 23 degrees in Taurus energy after being retrograde since September 1st. So we have a lot to unpack here. Let me just remind you that just a couple of days ago on the 27th, we had Mercury, ruler of the lower level intellect, move into Aquarius energy that, of course, Uranus has rulership over. May I also remind you that just here yesterday on the 29th, we had the new moon pop off in Aquarius energy that, of course, Uranus ruled over. We are in Aquarius season. Uranus is just stacking up the rulership, stacking up the power here. And he's definitely adding to the Uranian energy here this week by finally stationing direct. So a little bit of a throwback, if you will, and just remember that Uranus is an outer planet. So again, the energy does kind of have a subtleness to it. However, the times in which we actually see Uranus and other planets actually shift either into a retrograde or station direct coming out of it, that is when we kind of see the peak potency. But I want to take you back to May 15th of 2024. That is when Uranus entered into the pre-retrograde shadow period. That's when we were at that 23 degrees of Taurus energy. We finally went retrograde on September 1st, 2024 at 27 degrees in this Taurus energy. So as you can see, that's only 4 degrees. And here we are coming back at a direct position at 23 degrees. So for 5 months, Uranus pretty much went, that 4-degree mark-ish. We are stationing direct here today, 23 degrees in Taurus energy, which is exactly where we were at in May of 2024. So there's a lot to unpack. Of course, a lot has taken place, a lot has transpired, but there is a common thread. And if we're looking at the Uranian energy, we have to be looking at the Taurus part of your own birth chart to understand where this particular energy has been kind of pushing us. While retrograde pushing us to see where it is that we're overly attached to trying to keep things the same. We are in a fixed earth energy in Taurus. So of course there is this want, need, and desire to keep things the same. We really enjoy routine. However, it turns into a rut and then we have a hard time making the changes that we have to make in order to break free from this quote unquote routine rut. And therefore we have over the last 5 months been illuminated to where it is that we've been resisting change, where it is that we know that we have to do things differently, but we're having a hard time actually doing things differently. We are very much looking at our day-to-day life, our materialized realm, where routines, relationships, resources, money matters, happiness, joy, all of these safety, security issues in our materialistic realm are represented by this Taurus energy. So we've had this invitation to anchor in this new version of self. As you know, we are still collapsing the old world that old version of self had built and created. But again, the resistance to doing what needs to be done now coming to an end. Uranus is going to give us a jolt of energy to kind of shit or get off the pot here, kind of infuses us with a little bit of a rebellious nature. We're more willing to kind of make moves, especially spontaneous ones, especially if we're opening ourselves up to making a positive action that could be considered a little bit risky. I say that there's a hesitation there because, again, a lot of the things that we will be making moves on or spontaneously taking action upon, it's going to seem like it comes out of nowhere, but realistically speaking, we've been thinking about it for like 5 months. So it's a calculated, spontaneous move. It is a carefully thought out, quote unquote, risk that we are willing to take to kind of switch things up and break away from that old structure, that old foundation. And so we're going to be in this post-retrograde shadow period until May 17th. And that's when we are going to reach the 27 degree, 15-minute mark of this Taurus energy. That's going to be new foreign territory as far as this particular journey goes. And again, if you've listened to the 2025 year ahead overview, you would know that once Uranus goes direct, we are full trucking all the way into that Gemini energy. We dip into it and then retrograde back through that Gemini energy, coming back to the final degrees of this Taurus energy. So we have a lot of unexpected events that we definitely need to prepare for. We need to kind of understand that Uranus is pushing us into situations and circumstances for us to expand upon our consciousness, our awareness, our goals, our visions, our ideas, our dreams, essentially. And we're understanding now what we have to take action upon to cut off, to detach from, to provide endings and closures to, as far as this physical realm goes, so that we can actively start pursuing the new path, the new vision, the new goal, the new dream that, again, not as clear as we would all like to see it as, this present moment. However, with all of these major heavy-hitting planets coming out of their retrogrades, which they will over the next couple of months, we are going to have a little bit of a forward movement, forward momentum. And we are, especially with Uranus in this Taurus energy, going to see some major shifting on the greater, grander stage, on the global stage, if you will. Again, Taurus energy is this earth energy. Uranus, of course, is the lightning, the inspiration, the idea, the revolution, the rebellion energy that we need to make the changes that we have been resisting. So, of course, if you have your January energy guide available to you, this is going to be the last event of the month before we shift into that February energy guide, which I recommend you download as soon as possible. And of course, we're still very much in this new moon Aquarius energy that, again, Uranus has rulership over. So we're still sitting in the dark. We're still having to navigate our inner realm of intuition, of emotion. We're still waiting to see that glimmer, that shimmer of the moon in the sky. And when we gain a little bit of illumination in the sky, we're going to kind of be illuminated to a new clarity, a new path, a new direction of what needs to be done here in the physical realm to, again, set our old selves free.